conversations for me are always really interesting because the way that I grew up was you need to be darker.
Really?
Like, everyone in my family wants to be darker.
I'm all about being darker. I didn't realize this until my teens though, but like when I went to Grenada and like I got like a really nice, healthy, dark tan, I felt like my skin was glowing.
Right,
It's beautiful. Yeah, like, all right.
There's this picture of a couple of rappers. It was like Jay-Z, Diddy, Swiss Beats, somebody else at a table, and they were like talking about like what excellence looks like, and all of their women. You had Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Cassie, all very light skinned. So clearly there's an association with like being high class and looking a certain way. And I know for me, like I was always very urged to like, this idea of like a messy bun, like throwing your hair in a messy bun. And I used to have hair, like more than this. So like putting my hair in a messy bun and putting on sweats and going outside, I couldn't do that. Because if I do that as a darker skinned woman with my hair nappy and like, then somebody might think I was homeless. Or somebody would think like, oh, that she didn't shower today or whatever. The lighter you are and the more polished you look is definitely associated with you know, more money.
My family comes from an ethnicity called Garifuna, and we're a mixture of West African and Arawakan people. In our home country of Guatemala, there's a lot of indigenous folks and Garifuna folks together. And usually they get together and they have mulagu, like basically biracial children. And that was always seen as beautiful. Having that overall really shaped the way I viewed myself, and feeling that I was never really beautiful in my skin. So I had to literally like seek that out on myself to love my melanin.
My two best friends are much lighter than me, right? So I have been standing next to my friends and people have literally not said hello to me because they are not seeing me. People literally ignore dark-skinned women, particularly fat dark-skinned women, particularly fat dark-skinned women that don't have no hair. Me, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know that when I'm being called light-skinned, as somebody's trying to holler at me or whatever, like it's a compliment. But it's uncomfortable for me to be called light-skinned because it's like you're calling me, you're saying I'm different from you. You're saying that I'm not, and you're excluding me from a community.
But it's more of like a dismissal.
Yeah. And being black and white, like I'm not gonna not tell you my mother is white, but I'm not white. I am not half white. I am a black woman. I don't like that we're separated by skin tones when I could have had two black parents and been the skin tone.
I'm hearing a lot about, you know, this European or Eurocentric standard of beauty. But I'm also sometimes offended when people on the color spectrum would question my sort of commitment to the race. I think there's a part of me that also resents if someone say, well, if you're not natural, you didn't do this, which I feel like I'm natural. I didn't have any chemical in my hair, but I decided, yeah, I'm gonna blow dry my hair. And that doesn't make me any less than one of my sisters who's deciding something else.
My first memory of race, I would say, has been about colorism, which I think is interesting because I think it was me asking my mom if she was white, which I thought was really interesting. And then she told me the first memory she remembers was when I was at a park and I was playing with these kids, and then the older sister came over and she was like, no, don't play with her because she's brown. The color spectrum is something that we have to deal with if we want to move forward at all as a people.
You have to understand that we didn't originally create this type of hotomosity. You know, we didn't create this kind of intense relations with each other. It was brought upon us. So even if it was here for African Americans in the US, or if it's in, Central or South America or in the Caribbean, it's this was something that was structured to be able to divide and conquer.
So are we saying that it's on lighter-skinned people to open doors or make spaces? Are we saying that we don't collectively have the power to make our own space. Yeah, I think it's a joint effort. Like as far as looking towards the future, we have these examples of what like Jordan Peele just released this film. He has Lupita Nyong'o as a lead. You have people like even just in conversations, people talk about Beyonce, but now people are like, what about Kelly though? Like this idea of like bringing darker women to the forefront, like that is present. Like in the families we create, we have to make sure that we enforce that self-love. And then also lighter-skinned people, making sure that they don't succumb to Eurocentric standards of beauty or like influencing it.
We are two Black women experiencing something together. My way of showing up for you is if I need to put my body on the line, I'm putting my body on the line. The way that you're disrupting systems of oppression is making sure people acknowledge my humanity. We finna do this together. Like we have to do it together.
I love you so very much.
That was